Hello and welcome to the program. I'm Joke Rogers. Angola's former president, José Eduardo dos Santos, who ruled Africa's second biggest oil producer for 38 years, has died at the age of 79. Zedu, as he was affectionately called throughout his long presidential term, has been in exile in Barcelona since late 2017, when he formally retired from political life, leaving power to his successor, the current president of Angola, João Lourenço. He was undergoing treatment for an undisclosed condition.
Also, Eduardo dos Santos came to power 4 years after Angola gained independence from Portugal and became immersed in the Cold War as a proxy battlefield. His political journey spanned a single-party Marxist rule in post-colonial years and a democratic system of government adopted in 2008. He voluntarily stepped down when his health began failing. In public, dos Santos was unassuming and even appeared shy at times, but he was said to be a shrewd operator behind the scenes. He kept a tight grip on the 17th century presidential palace in Luanda, the southern African country's Atlantic capital, by distributing Angola's wealth between his army generals and political rivals to ensure their loyalty. He demoted anyone he perceived to be gaining a level of popularity that could threaten his command. Angola became sub-Saharan Africa's second largest oil producer after Nigeria, producing close to 2 million barrels per day. It also unearthed more than $1 billion worth of diamonds each year. More than $4 billion in oil revenue vanished from Angolan state coffers between 1997 and 2002, New York-based Human Rights Watch said in a 2004 report based on an analysis of figures from the International Monetary Fund. Under his rule, and despite the general poverty, street protests were rare and quickly broken up by the heavily armed riot police, known popularly as ninjas. A well-paid and well-equipped presidential guard was garrisoned inside dos Santos' palace and lined the city's grimy pothole streets whenever he emerged. A bricklayer's son from Luanda, Angola's coastal capital, dos Santos began his political life with boots and a rifle in 1961 as an 18-year-old guerrilla for the MLPA in the fight for independence from Portugal.
Se todos formos votar, ninguém nos poderá vencer.
Nigeria's President Muhammadu Buhari has extended condolences to the family of former Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe and to the government and people of Japan in the wake of his gruesome assassination earlier today. President Buhari describes Mr. Abe, the country's longest-serving Prime Minister, as an outstanding leader, assuring his family of the prayers and thoughts of all Nigerians during this difficult time. He says Mr. Abe will be remembered for his unwavering commitment to strengthen trade and investment between Africa and Japan through various initiatives and partnerships using the instrumentality of Tokyo International Conference on African Development. The president also affirms that under Mr. Abe, Nigeria and Japan enjoyed a strategic partnership supporting each other's shared aspirations on economic cooperation, healthcare, human resource development, disaster risk reduction, peace and security. President Buhari praised that the memory of the Japanese statesman and respected international leader will be a blessing to his nation and people whom he served so devotedly. The African Union has launched an e-passport that will enable easier travel within and outside Africa. The passport, which will be digital in format, is a QR code that will be scanned to show proof that one has been fully vaccinated against COVID-19 and has a valid vaccine certificate. The passport was launched at the Africa Integration Day, former of Africa virtual event. Africa heads of state and global health leaders present at the event said the virtual document and the e-health backbone are part of Africa's new health order. Acting head of the Africa CDC, Ahmed Ogwell, says the vaccine passport will soon expand its bracket to include other vaccines such as the yellow fever vaccine, adding that the Africa CDC is also holding talks to link the passport to other global systems. Still on health matters, Ghana has reported 2 suspected cases of Marburg virus, a highly infectious disease in the same family as the virus that causes Ebola. This comes after preliminary tests was done in the country on 2 patients who have since died. They came back positive for the virus. The World Health Organization's representative in Ghana, Dr. Francis Kasalohi, says the samples have been taken into the Institute Pasteur in Senegal for further tests, and if confirmed, these will be the first cases recorded in the country and the second in West Africa. Guinea confirmed 1 case last year. In the meantime, health authorities have quarantined 34 people who are part of contacts traced to the suspected cases. Previous outbreaks and sporadic cases of Marburg in Africa have been reported in Angola, the Democratic Republic of Congo, Kenya, South Africa, and Rwanda. A top United Nations official for the Sahel region says the information received on the massacres that have been perpetrated on innocent civilian populations, including women and children, conveys the tragedy that's unfolding at this moment in this part of the world. Rabab Fatima, chairperson of the UN Peacebuilding Commission, says they are gravely concerned at the persistence in violent incidents.
The Commission is gravely concerned at the persistence in violent incidents perpetrated by non-state armed groups, as well as ISIS and Al-Qaeda affiliated terrorist groups such as the Islamic State in Greater Sahara, Islamic State West Africa Province, and Jamaat Nasser al-Islam wal-Muslimin. The expansion of these terrorist groups to the coastal countries, notably in the Gulf of Guinea, and their growing nexus with organized criminal networks and pirates to facilitate trafficking of drugs and arms and ammunition is another worrisome trend.
Meanwhile, clashes in the Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo between the army and M23 rebels have resumed, with local media reporting fresh clashes in the Rutsuru area of North Kivu province, forcing residents to flee their homes. The latest round of fighting erupted a day after President Felix Tshisekedi and his Rwandan counterpart Paul Kagame agreed on an immediate ceasefire to resolve the conflict in the volatile region. DR Congo accuses Rwanda of backing the M23, which both Kigali and the rebels have consistently denied. More on the Burkina Faso political situation. The former president Blaise Compaoré has returned to the West African country despite a conviction in April for complicity in the 1987 murder of charismatic revolutionary Thomas Sankara. Mr. Compaoré's return comes ahead of a meeting with the interim military president Paul-Henri Damiba and other former leaders to pave a way forward to democratic rule.
Former President Blaise Compaoré flew out of exile and into Burkina Faso on Thursday after an 8-year absence. And that's despite having been convicted in absentia in April of complicity in the murder of charismatic Marxist revolutionary Thomas Sankara. Mr. Compaoré, who fled the West African country after being ousted in a coup, arrived for a meeting with interim President Henri-Paul Damiba and other former leaders. His niece, Marceline Yamigo, said she was very pleased.
Je suis vraiment très contente, vraiment très émue.
We must forgive each other and go for reconciliation because the nation needs all its sons and daughters for its development. It is not with insecurity and quarreling that we will build a better country.
Quand on parle de réconciliation,
Sankara, who earned a reputation as Africa's Che Guevara, was gunned down in 1987, 4 years after seizing power in a coup. Lawyers for Sankara's family had demanded Compaoré, who was handed a life sentence in April, be arrested on arrival. Burkina Bay media have been speculating that he could be granted a pardon. Mr. Compaoré and other former leaders are in the country for a reconciliation summit amid rising insurgency-linked insecurity. It's being hosted by Damiba, who took power in a January coup. Member of Parliament Lucien Eduardo said diplomacy had been set in motion and that we all have to be part of that.
Diplomacy has been set in motion, and I think we all have to be a part of that. When the country comes out of this abyss, then we can wage our war. The justice system in Burkina Faso, if it considers that it is in its role to arrest Blaise Compaoré, I think that we're all in the country and we will observe.
Compaoré was flown by helicopter to the presidential palace after his plane arrived in Ouagadougou from Côte d'Ivoire. He's been living there since the uprising that ended his nearly 3 decades in power. The country has repeatedly refused to extradite Compaoré and said his return had been agreed with Burkinabe authorities.
The road to success is not always paved with gold. Patience, hard work, resilience, and determination is needed to succeed, especially in a foreign land. This is the view of Nigerian property investor and wealth creator in the UK, Dr. Daniel Moses. According to him, the instant gratification mindset of most Nigerians migrating to a new country must be eliminated and replaced with grit, hard work, and tenacity to achieve success.
Believe in a purpose. If you can discover your purpose, dig deep enough, eliminate the instant gratification process. I think for me, that was what happened. I was able to completely destroy, just about 7 years ago, this story. 7 years ago, I destroyed that mentality of being the Nigerian that wanted quick, that wanted today and not tomorrow. And once I was able to destroy that, I was able to rebuild and understood that the journey that I've been through from 2004 till now was positioning me for me to dig deeper into that deeper purpose to becoming the person that I am. And I think it's very important for diasporas like myself who made this transition through this process of doing odd jobs, doing linear jobs, to understand that you have to dig into your purpose. A lot of people want money. Everybody wants money. But what essence is that money? What would you do with that money once you get it?
The Saudi Arabian government is putting in place measures to ensure that this year's pilgrimage is a memorable one for pilgrims. One of such initiatives is a rail system to ease movement of pilgrims to and fro the holy sites at no cost. The government is giving the Holy Kaaba a unique and befitting outlook by adorning it with 25 million riyals worth of black fabric known as kiswa. Our correspondent Abubakar Salisu reports from Mecca.
The Mashair train service links the holy mosque of Kaaba to Mina, Muzdalifah, Arafat and Jamrat at an average speed of 80 kilometers per hour. Before the COVID-19 pandemic, over 3 million pilgrims took part in Hajj in the holy cities of Mecca and Medina annually. Hence, there was a regular report of overcrowding and stampede due to the inadequate facilities. The introduction of an improved rail service is bringing succor to pilgrims.
The capacity for the train is 72,000 people per hour, and there is 16 trains. Each train have 12 cabin. Every train capacity is 3,000.
The Holy Kaaba is a significant part of every pilgrimage, and this year the authorities are planning to improve on its look. The history of the black covering of the Holy Kaaba dates back to over 400 years ago, when the custodians of the two holy mosques of Mecca and Medina introduced the kiswa to further beautify the Hajj operations.
It is a royal decree. It's a royal decree because, the ceremony itself during the Hajj, it doesn't take that image. So usually we are having that on the 9th of Dhul Hijjah. Now the delivery will be on the 10th, and the ceremony, it will be 1st of the Hijrah year. So it will be having a separate occasion, a separate limelight, a separate image, a separate celebration.
One of the weavers who has spent 5 years at the Kiswa factory reveals that they put between 7 to 8 hours of dedicated service daily to produce the black covering of the Kaaba.
This longer between 2 meters. To finish this piece, we need 4 persons to finish this piece. To finish this, it take 2 months or 3 months to finish this.
Since beauty and cleanliness form the basis of piety in Islam, the Saudi authorities are desirous of doing more to give the Kaaba a befitting look. From Mecca, Saudi Arabia, Abubakar Salihu reporting for Channels Television.
Computer coder Victor Daniel lets gamers play football as Nigerian stars. He hopes to broaden the game's appeal by constructing league teams from across the continent and include African music and commentary.
My name is Victor Daniel, and I'm the creator.
As a football fan at the university, coder Victor Daniel was frustrated that video games showcase clubs and players from across Europe but lack the local stripes and stars of his native Nigeria. He was determined to change that. 3 years of tinkering and hundreds of lines of code later, he launched what he believes is the first African football video game in May, Vixen Virtual. The game is a modified version of Japanese game maker Konami's blockbuster football simulation Pro Evolution Soccer, featuring 50 clubs and more than 1,400 players from across Nigerian leagues.
I told somebody, okay, that one day we can even see ourselves in video games. One of the players, and he said, it's not possible. Maybe 2030 something or 2050 something, that in Nigeria is not possible. And that just reignited the spirit. I'm like, okay, it's possible. Like, and then I went back to my project. I saw it there and I continued.
Since launching in May, Daniel's game patch has only been downloaded a few dozen times, but it's already won fans on the pitch and the sofa. Harrison Austin, a footballer at Ikorodu City FC in Lagos State, said having a digital avatar could boost his chances of being scouted by other teams. His Ikorodu FC team and the Mountain of Fire FC team are among 50 Nigerian clubs featured in the video game.
I know each game that is being played, each player will be rated. But me advancing to the NPFL, probably my rating will be advanced, would climb. So it will help me to do more, to move out from here, so that I will be spotted in another team.
Ikorodu City FC's owner, Oluwatoyin Jafar, believes it will help promote the club.
It's going to increase the fan base, it's going to increase the followership, and it's going to create additional awareness, which is beneficial to the club itself.
Earlier last month, Nigerian ex-Chelsea star Mikel Obi launched the first edition of his talent hunt program, Back to Base, where he's trying to inspire potential stars from the local sports scene.
Whichever way I can help in terms of, sports, not just football, sports across the nation. Being the Nigerian youth ambassador for sports, I feel it's my duty to be able to do that. And that's what I want to start to do from now on.
Sitting on a stripy sofa in his sitting room, Udo Mukeme smashes the buttons of a video game controller alongside his young friend, dribbling, passing, and shooting with their local football heroes.
I like the game because it's my nation game. I can see people that I know inside the game.
From things like this, the league can improve. Okay, so just like give a little bit of hope for these players and brought joy into their hearts.
He's already working on the next phase of upgrade for the game, which will include a mobile version and adding other African clubs, starting with one South African and one Egyptian league.
Let's get more from our Africa Tech segment. You just saw a coded there, but now we're talking school. Embracing modular interactive classrooms is one way to bring out the innovative thinking and creativity of students. But it's not just the students that get to benefit from such innovations, as teachers also get the opportunity to leverage online tools for efficiency. And that's the case of Vetland Junior Grammar School in Lagos, where the students there are the first to enjoy such structure in public education in the state.
Viewing this containerized structure from the exterior will give you no inkling what awaits inside, but a closer look changes that impression. The one-story building is a modular interactive school built using standardized reusable freight compartments, known as containers, a deviation from the brick-and-mortar school buildings. Since the pandemic hit in 2020, a number of learning institutions transitioned online, leveraging educational technology to adapt to the new reality. But providing an environment that supports the technology is key, hence learning spaces like this. Interactivity is an important part of this setup, and low-cost and easy-to-use tablets are available to encourage the students access the notes the teacher is using. These students from Wetland Junior Grammar School in Lagos are the first set to experience this pioneer innovation in the state.
My feeling about this school is that it enhances the children's learning. If they don't know something, they can look it up in the Google, because we have our tabs with us, our teachers with the smart boards, the interactive boards. They can even give an example with looking it up in the Google with a picture. Like, this is so amazing. Even if the teacher is not even in the classroom, they can search, explore the world, like what they don't understand in the classrooms, they can look it up on the internet.
Digital literacy is mandatory for the teachers as well to enhance visual learning, and they make use of interactive touch screens instead of boards. What both parties need is to have their tablets and internet connection, and learning can take place anywhere. Power supply, which is usually a major issue in the country, is addressed as the building has its own dedicated energy source that's off the grid.
We're sitting right here in a modular school. In here, 52 containers, a 12 classroom block. And why? Why modular? We needed an envelope to warehouse our technology. It's not as if we couldn't have sat in a brick and mortar building, that's fine. But the reality, the concept behind it, the mindset behind it was, what's new? What are we going to do differently? What's rugged enough that can take this African environment that we're in?
If the benefits from this scheme are to be spread and used widely, more of these sorts of facilities will definitely be needed. Expectations are high that this indeed will be the case.
That's the program today. Thank you for watching. I'm Joker Rogers.